Hey, what is up guys? So you guys asked for it, and I've been doing a lot of playtesting with heroes. Now this is going to be a non-budget version, but I still consider this very, very budget friendly because it's basically 3 copies of structure deck and a few cards. Acid at the moment of the making of this video, it's like 10 bucks. Other than that though, everything is relatively inexpensive. Maybe you got some of these from the mega packs. But anyways, let's go and jump right into the deck profile, explain the choices as we go along. And if you're just here to net deck, you can go ahead and visit the description box below, and you can go ahead and actually download the link. Now this version is going to be a speed version of the deck. It's a very fast way to win. If you like OTKs and all-in decks, this is definitely for you. Now I'll be doing a lot of different builds of heroes. As you guys know from the live stream, I've been testing out heroes basically throughout the entirety of like the announcement of the structure deck, and it's a really fun deck. A lot of the combos are basically repeats though. There's not really very much innovation in the deck to go for a lot of just awkward things. I mean, you could maybe play some awkward heroes, but it's not going to be really that viable. Now I do want to mention really quickly that this build is going to be using Anki, which is not actually out in the TCG yet, but the build can still definitely pull off a lot of crazy stuff without it, because this card is amazing in the deck, and that's why we got to play the Wild Heart. But anyways, like I said guys, this is a speed version of the deck. There's different versions where you can play Plasmas, you can play Destiny Hero, Diamond Dude. There's a lot of different combos. I just like this one because it's very, very fast. So anyways, that said, let's go and jump right into the deck profile, and I'll explain the choices right now. So first off, we got 1 copy of BLS. There's 15 cards to pull off Alias in here. So even if you banish Alias to go for the Shining, it's still, you know, a light in the grave, and you don't really need the Shining in the grave that bad. So you can go ahead and banish it after, or, you know, whenever, because BLS supports a lot of OTKs. And what's funny, guys, is I was actually messing around with Dark Arm Dragon, and Dark Arm Dragon actually is viable in the deck. Like, you can pull off a Dark Arm relatively easy, especially if you're going to be playing Anki, because you can Summoner Monk into Shadow Mist. Shadow Mist can go into Anki. Anki can then get a free card that lets you go and shred into Dark Law. So it's very easy to actually pull off Dark Arm. But the problem that I had with Dark Arm was that you had to actually go into main phase 2, or you do it next turn. It wasn't an immediate, you know, special summon immediately, you know, in main phase 1, so where you could actually do the battle damage. But you could definitely try out Dark Arm yourself if you want to. I just prefer BLS because, you know, he has that potential to hit for, you know, 3,000 plus, you know, whatever, you know, monster they already had that takes the battle damage. And I do apologize real quickly if I do sound funny. I kind of lost my voice from playing too many live streams. But anyways, next up, we got 1 copy of Alias. Like I said, you got 15 ways in this deck to get out Alias. It's pretty easy to, you know, just have that 1 light, because it's not like we have multiple Chaos monsters. It's just 1 BLS, because BLS is amazing. It's like Snatch Stealers. It kind of just snatches games. And also, you can also make Exciton Knight or Excalibur to get over the Puckalov Towers or Killer. You can make this guy, so, you know, you can get other lights. And there's also Koga, which sometimes can be very good. I like this card a lot. Sometimes your opponent just doesn't see this card coming, and you just attack them once and they just lose from there. And I thought about playing Honest, and honestly, I didn't like it because it conflicted with Bubble Man, and a lot of times I like to reinforce my own army or e-call for Bubble Man, and that can extend my plays even further. But next up, I'm playing 1 copy of Wild Heart, and some guys are like, what the heck, you're crazy, why would you play this card's garbage? No, this card's amazing. You don't understand how amazing this combo is. Let me go ahead and actually explain the combo. If you guys don't know it, I have a video of me showing off the combo. It's a relatively simple combo, though. You get this card out whether you, you know, Summoner Monk, you Hero Lives, you Mass Change, or I'm sorry, not Mass Change, but Rhoda to search for it. You get this card out, okay? And then you go ahead and activate Mass Change on him, and then you go ahead and make Mass Hero Dian. And Dian has the effect that when this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard, you can special summon 1 level 4 or lower hero monster from your deck. That allows you to special summon Shadow Mist. Shadow Mist then triggers its effect, and you could add Mass Change. Then what you can do from there, maybe you know that they have, you know, a monster that you can run over with Shadow Mist plus an additional monster. So even if your opponent has a full board, you can still definitely like pull off a lot of huge advantage plays in this deck. But anyways, so you have Shadow Mist, and of course you get that free Mass Change. Then what you can do is you can Mass Change or attack with this first, you know, depending on the scenario, and then you can go ahead and go into Anki. Now, Anki also has an effect where if it destroys an opponent's monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard, you can add 1 change quick play spell, so you can add whatever you want to add, and then go straight back into Dark Law, or, you know, whatever you want to make for the right scenario. So basically, there's a huge advantage play right there for you guys, and the deck can definitely OTK relatively consistent. It's basically designed to do that, especially if you happen to have Snatch 0 BLS. You can just OTK much easier, and especially with Hero Lives, you know, you're going to go all in anyways. But yeah, Wild Heart is very awesome. I mean, yeah, you could activate other cards to get out the DM, but I just like to play one copy of Wild Heart. It doesn't really hurt the deck at all if you play a copy of Wild Heart. Next up, I'm playing one copy of Goblinberg and 3 copies of Tin Goldfish. Even though in the OCG, they also basically favor the Goldfish over Goblinberg. Now, Goblinberg, what he does, guys, is he's just a warrior. Now, with Tin Goldfish, what I like with this card is it can attack, because this card makes the other thing go into defense mode. It changes itself into defense mode if you activate its effect. So, basically what you do with Tin Goldfish or Goblinberg is you're able to special summon a Shadow Mist from your hand. So that means if you draw it, it's not that bad. Because I personally just like to special summon this card. I don't really like to normal summon it, let the turn pass. I like to special summon it and then wait for my opponent's turn to start, and then I can mass change and then go into Dark Law. Because this deck still can definitely compete with some of the meta in these days, especially because Dark Law is such a strong card against a lot of the decks that like to get free little advantage right there. Goblinberg, like I said, the only difference between Goblinberg and Tin Goldfish initially, at first glance, is you're like, oh, okay, I guess you can attack for 800 with Goldfish because it doesn't move itself to defense position. But here's where you're wrong. It acts as a water target for not only to go straight into Mass Hero Acid, but it can also let you just have an extra water for Absolute Zero, so you don't have to banish this. So you can keep your heroes in the graveyard for later for your Miracle Fusions. So that's why I really prefer the OCG idea, I guess, of playing Goldfish over playing more copies of this. Don't get me wrong, I don't really mind this card because it is a roto target, but I feel like you really only need like one of these, essentially, to really get your play rolling. And after that, they're still like good cards and they basically do the same thing. With Rhoda, it's just searchable, and then with this card, it just has a little bit more utility. And also, in the OCG, they have Harpy's Feather Duster, and they still favor to play the Goldfish because, you know, back row, some decks, you know, Burning Abyss, there's a lot of decks that just have a ton of back row. And what I love with this is, like, even to Burning Abyss, they have their Phoenix Wind Blast, their other, like, chainables. If you're just going to go ahead and go for Acid, then, you know, they're just going to cry anyways. Even if they, you know, bottomless, they torrential, whatever, you're still going to get a huge advantage if you're playing against a deck that, you know, just set 5, you know, but I like Goldfish a lot. Next up, I'm playing 2 copies of Summoner Monk. I don't know why that one was separated, but Summoner Monk, very easy combo, just to go Summoner Monk into Shadow Mist, into, you know, set the mass change that you had for free, and then if Summoner Monk stays alive, cool. If it not, oh well, who cares, it dies. If I happen to have Shockmaster legal, I would probably actually play Shockmaster, obviously, and then I would Summoner Monk into Summoner Monk, because you can win against certain archetypes by just doing that and calling monster effects. But nonetheless, Summoner Monk is just a fantastic card just to make the deck much faster if you just need a special summon from the deck and you don't have to have any of these. And plus, it's another dark target and a level 4, so you can go into rank 4s. Originally, like I said, I was trying to play Dark Armed in it, and it did work. I was also trying Chaos and lots of different builds, but I like this one the most. And then we're playing 3 copies of Shadow Mist. It's pretty much self-explanatory. This card just is basically another version of Stratos. I'd like to play Stratos if I had the ability to do so, but it is banned in the TCG. This card is basically the same thing. It searches out any hero. Keep that in mind as well. You don't have to actually search out for an elemental hero. So maybe if you're playing a Diamond Dude build or a different one, you can definitely make use of this card also. Then next up, I'm playing 2 copies of Bulbman. I love this card at 2, and you can play 3 if you want to, you know, change anything, but I actually like to play 1 Maxi. The reason why I like to play 1 Maxi is because I can activate it at any time. If it's my opponent's turn, I can activate it, obviously, to get free cards, and if it's my turn, I can just activate it, so I just have to have, you know, less cards in my hand that lets me go for my Bubbleman play. So I really like just having 1 copy of Maxi, just simply because if I happen to have 2, then I can't really make too good use of it. Well, I mean, as long as, you know, my opponent isn't special summoning like crazy, you know, as long as I can draw that 1 Maxi at the right time, it's very, very nice, but I just like it because, like I said, if you really need to get rid of it, you can just discard it. Next up, 2 E-Calls, and then I'm playing 3 copies of Hero Lives. It is an all-in deck. And then I'm playing 1 copy of Argeki just to deal with another person making Dark Law before I do. Or if they go ahead and they're playing Necros and they're going to be like, you can't special summon, then I just Argeki. I also was considering Dark Hole also because it supports OTKs. But I just kind of like the consistency I had. You could play Dark Hole, don't get me wrong. I don't think it's that bad at all. Next I'm playing 3 copies of Reinforcement of the Army, then I'm playing 3 copies of Miracle Fusion. One important thing with Miracle Fusion, and I need to make a vid specifically on this because there's so many people that already go on Dueling Network and that have been messaging me. They're like, can this guy really make contrast hero chaos with Miracle Fusion, because it does say special summon an elemental hero, but when you look at this card it says it's a contrast hero, but then at the top of the card it says this card is always treated as an elemental hero card, so therefore you can just use it, and that way you can make this card. A lot of people just like didn't know that you could do that. I also was one of those people that didn't know you could do it, but then I learned and I'm like, wow, that's really easy, because going back to the other plays, whether it's Dan or Anki, you can get a free card from there, and then from there you can make like another thing, because you're going to go for Shadow Mist more than likely, or you can go for another mask change, and then from there you can go into Dark Law, and bam, you have your 2 mass heroes that you're going to be banishing for the Miracle Fusion, so you're good to go on that. Next up, I'm playing only 1 copy of Mass Charge. This card, to me, it's more of like a win harder card or a late game card. You can use it like mid game too, but like when you're playing 3 copies of it, sometimes you can open up a little bit cloggy. You don't happen to have the right stuff. I mean, the deck searches itself out relatively consistently, but I only really feel like I need 1 because I just need to OTK. I don't really need to re-add back this and re-add back the hero. I don't feel like that's necessary when I could just win the game from just attacking and changing all my heroes over and over. And then I'm playing 3 copies of Mystical Space Typhoon because it's pretty much an all-in deck. And then we're playing 1 copy of Night Beam because I had an extra room. Like, oh, I was really considering this card. This card can sack really hard, especially in this deck because of Hero Lives. But you know, I decided to go with Night Beam because it's, I guess, a little bit safer. If you really want to sack some people, make people upset, play Hope for Escape. You won't be disappointed because, again, when you're paying a bunch of life points, you might be at so light life points you can draw several cards off of that, and at that point, you should be able to win in this deck. Then we're playing 3 copies of Mass Change, 2 copies of Form Change, and 2 copies of Mass Second Change. And lastly, we have the Snatch Steal. The Snape Snatch of the deck, thing that steals games. This card, in this deck, it's just so insane. Especially when you can Hero Lives first and go ahead and make a, like a, well, establish essentially a setup where you're going to go ahead and just keep on attacking them. And if they have no monster, in addition to that, you're going to be attacking them. You can even maybe go into a Hero Lives and then go into Bubble Man, Mass Change, and blow up all the back row. Then go for the Snatch Steal, and then from there you can go ahead and make it game, because you still have to have your normal summon, which could of course include Summon a Monk into something like Shadow Mist, or you can go Tin Goldfish into Shadow Mist, and of course, like I said, win the game from there. As far as the extra deck, there's really like little room, but I'm playing 1 Contrast Hero Chaos, 1 Dian, 1 Anki. This card is not out yet in the TCG, so you can swap it out with something for now if you want to. And then I'm playing 1 Koga, I'm playing 1 Shining, 1 Acid, 1 Absolute Zero, 2 copies of Dark Law, 1 Exciton Knight, 1 Gandiva. Now this is kind of an obscure card, but it's once per turn when a level 4 lower monster or monsters is special summoned to your opponent's side of the field, except during the damage step, you can detach 1 material and then you destroy that special monster or monster. So you're playing against Teller Knights and they're trying to sack you with a Soul Charge, bam, you got rid of all of them, man. I love that for that. But, I mean, obviously they'll try not to, you know, get ruined by Gandiva, but I like it against Teller Knights and against like random stuff that, you know, requires special something smaller monsters. This just eats them up alive, and this is once per turn, and that is during either player's turn, so because it's when a level 4 lower monster is summoned to your opponent's side of the field, which I love. And I love that it has 2 effects essentially, and it's 21. It's also a warrior, not that that really matters, but you know, it's there. Then I'm playing 1 101 and then 1 Castell. Now sometimes I just end up making one of them and I want, like, you know, an access to, I mean, these cards are very similar. Sometimes this card is better, sometimes this card is better. Most of the times Castell is better right now in the game, but other times I want to go for a 101 simply because you're going to be paying a lot of life points. If you take any damage, you could just lose, so I'm really hesitant sometimes on going for Castell when 101 can basically do the job, basically getting rid of the problem card, and then in addition to that, I can also, you know, attempt to protect myself. But I'm playing this because it does a lot of damage. You could play Blade Armor Ninja, but there is upsides to Blade Armor and there is upsides to Excalibur. I mean, Blade Armor Ninja does total 400 more damage because it's 22 twice, but this allows you to get over like things that are just have absurd amounts of attacks. And then Cowboy, sometimes you can, you know, get out free cards with Dion and do other things, and then you can main phase 2 go in Cowboy and just win the game from there. As far as the side deck, this is not, of course, the real side deck. These were just other cards I wanted to mention. If you didn't want to play Night Beam, you don't want to play BLS, you want to swap things up to your liking. Other cards I really liked, Hope for Escape was a really sacky card. I need to get some more footage of this card in action because I really just love being able to just draw so many cards with this after Hero Lives, because a lot of times in this deck you can set yourself up to specifically OTK in one turn. I almost considered Megamorph at one point, because you're at low life, you know, you activate Hero Lives, and then if you can get a Dark Law that has 4,800 attack, it only needs to attack once, and then you can mass change into other things. The downside of Megamorph doesn't really exist, so I was like, that's kind of, you know, sacky too. I'll do some builds with that too, and I'll share it with you guys. But Dark Law is very strong, and basically you can win the game simply with this card alone if you go for it first turn versus some decks. I also considered Thunder King just as another light target in the very beginning, but I noticed it wasn't necessary. You can make BLS really easy, because like I said, there's 15 cards if you count Alias itself also, to basically get it out, whether you're counting Rhoda, E-Calls, or the Summoner Monks and stuff like that, and Hero Lives also. But BLS is just, it's too good not to play. I considered Duality, but I wanted an all-in deck, so Duality was not an option. I also thought, like, Bottomless, Compulse, like Torrential, those are all like the best, you know, trap cards in the game, not including Vanity's Emptiness. Sometimes you can win by a Dark Law and Emptiness, but I swear, every time, you guys know on the live stream, when I went for this combo, Dark Hole, Regeki, and I'm like, dude, at that point, you lose. I mean, if you have a Dark Law, sometimes, you know, there are inherent special summons in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! But if you go Dark Law and Vanity's Emptiness, you can win games, but then if your opponent has, like I said, Regeki, Dark Hole, or Smashing Ground, someone just to pop Dark Law, you're at such a huge disadvantage, because you activated this in fear, of course, that they had an inherent special summon. And you'll just kind of lose to that. But nonetheless, yeah, that combo can work, but I just hated losing to that. And then I considered Solemn at one point. Some people are liking it, but the problem that I have with this card is Hero Lives, you pay a lot of life. Sometimes 2,000 is a huge amount, and then someone goes, okay, someone the Sham, okay, game, or goes for Cowboy game. So I didn't really like that for that aspect. I kind of prefer Bottomless over Warning, just because it hurts pendulums really hard, especially if you get to Bottomless multiples. Then there's also like Kerrigan the Anti-Luminescent Knight. There's of course Rhapsody and Berserk. There's a lot of other cards I just wanted to let you guys know existed. Level Chain can also be a good card because you send the Shadow Mist, you can activate its effect. Ragnar Zero is also a pretty cool card because it is also a water. But although this card, where is it? There's one card that says like it has to have a level, face a monster that has a level. So keep that in mind, that you cannot mass second change the XYZs, but I mean, it's a water, so it still helps out with Miracle Fusion, so you don't have to banish, you know, certain other things that you want to keep in the grave, because you want to keep this card in the grave for the Miracle Fusion for the Contrast hero. Then I considered Foolish Burial, because you can Foolish this, but I didn't really like to add. I want that to add the hero. I kind of want to actually add the Quick Plays, so I can OTK, and then, like I said before, Dark Arm, and then this card I found that it wasn't really needed at all, because we don't have Shadow, so I just didn't really care for it too much. And like the other cards in the deck essentially get you, I think, a better advantage, because why do you really need to, like, this card gets you a free special summon, this card lets you mass change into another attack. Why would you want to draw one and when you could just go ahead and attack, you know, basically twice in the deck and make whatever you need to make for the right scenario? So personally, I just think that this guy is almost useless. I mean, Nova it's got basically the same, well, this is better than Nova. The fire, let me show you guys this card real quick. Nova Master, it does require fire, but I mean, you could obviously, you know, do your other things to bring out this card. But when it destroys an opponent's monster by battle, you get to draw a card. Now, this one doesn't have to hit the grave, which is kind of important because Deanne and Anki do have to make the monster hit the grave. So if you have Dark Law, maybe this card could be better in, you know, certain circumstances. But at the moment, I don't really think there's really, you know, any great fire monsters, because we don't have the Blaze Man yet. That card's not out yet, and maybe there'll be more heroes in the future. But wow. There you guys go. There's the hero deck. So again, if you guys want to download it, and if you guys want to watch some replays of this, I highly recommend you guys to watch a replay so you can understand the basic combos of it. But like I said, I'll do some more builds and doing a lot of different stuff with heroes, but I think the deck can be good, especially if you get to go first, and you pretty much when you go first in this deck, you're going to make Dark Law. And a lot of people, I don't know for what reason, they go ahead and they play Duality in this deck when this deck needs to be fast. The problem that I have with this deck with Duality is that you're just going to be too slow, and there's so many, like, you know, mass changes and stuff like that where your opponent can just be like, oh, I'm just going to go all in and just make a field that you can't beat and then throw up Emptiness, and at that point you can just like lose the game. But anyways, thanks for watching, guys, and have some fun playing this deck, and if you have any suggestions for this deck, I'd love to hear them in the comment section below. But thanks for watching, guys. Asian Eyes signing out.